What's up, what's up? Here it is. It's the monk. Windwalker. Holy crap. Now, this is probably one of the more fluent specs. A little more, instead of spammy on one button, you are actually coerced in both your mastery and some talents to never hit the same button twice in a row. Awesome gameplay on this, guys, and it's a real smooth, relaxed, back and forth motion that you're doing between Tiger Palm and usually another ability. You always seem to go back to Tiger Palm because that is the way you're going to generate your chi. So with this, guys, let's take a look at the actual abilities itself and see where this monk is going to be played from. Here we are, guys, and as you can see, we've got the abilities up here, and the very first ability on the door is going to be Blackout Kick. This is going to be your general filler spell, guys. It costs 1 chi, and it is instant, but it is not going to be the top of your priority list. This is basically when everything else is on cooldown, and you need to spend some chi, Blackout Kick's the way to go. Crackling Jade Lightning, this is going to be like your range cast ability, guys, and it works basically the same. You're going to end up casting it out and completely miss because that's a level 112. For some reason, I'm not. Where's the right dummy? I'm the dummy. There they are. Nope. Crap. Anyways, it's going to do the same thing as what it used to do, guys, and you don't have to worry about it. It's not a whole hell of a lot of damage. And it's just a ranged ability, and I guess there it is. Gotta cast it off. So that's what you're looking at. Neat new effect on it, but other than that, nothing great. Detox, it's going to remove all poison and disease effects, just a regular decurse. Disable, just a movement slow, guys. It's basically a hamstring for the monk. Reduces target's movement speed by 50% for 15 seconds. Duration refreshed by your melee attacks. Targets already snared will be rooted for 8 seconds instead. So, yeah, pretty decent. I mean, it's not the greatest, but it's great in, I guess, the PvP world, or if you're trying to slow something down. Fuse, fast and efficient heal. It's 28,000, heals for 28,000, which really isn't much in the world of 485,000. But if you need to top off between pulls, this will work pretty good. Fist of Fury, this is got a little bit of a change, guys. It no longer stuns. But you can channel it while moving, and it does a shit ton of damage, and this is going to be one of the top priority buttons that you're looking at doing. It costs 3 chi, and it has a 20.5 second cooldown, which is reduced by haste. Haste is fairly important to the monk, at least for your ability cooldowns. Flying Serpent Kick works the same as it does on live. You're gonna click this bad boy, and then if you click it again, you slam down, and you're actually going to do a little bit of damage and reduce movement speed of the targets hit by you by 70% for 4 seconds. Healing Elixir, that is a talent, but man, is it a good one. We'll get to that later. Leg Sweep, another good talent. Paralysis, this is your CC, and it really, if you haven't seen it before, I don't know if it'll work on this dummy because of how. Hey, it worked. Alright, so it's going to do that effect, and it's going to make it to where they can't attack for 1 minute. Damage will cancel the effect, though. Provoke, this is a taunt. Not necessarily needed by you, unless for some damn reason you need to be self-sacrificed or pull a target off of a tank or something. It'll be of some use, more than likely, but it really doesn't work that great. But they did set it up. And I don't know if this is something new, like with the old Clash, if they ended up putting this in, but it makes the target move at 50% increased speed towards you. All I can think of is Clash when you had that and you would actually meet each other in the middle. That was the coolest spell in the world, and I can't believe they got rid of it. But that's just a taunt. Resuscitate, it's going to bring him back to life, guys. This is your res. Rising Sun Kick, kick upwards, dealing 54,000, some odd damage. Screw the number, guys. It's a hard-hitting ability, and this is one of your top priority items to keep on cooldown. 8.54 second cooldown, but that green means it is reduced by haste. It also ends up putting a Mortal Strike effect, guys, too. I almost forgot about that. Roll. Duh. I rolled. Spear Hand Strike, the next one down. This is actually your interrupt, guys. Works really, really well. Spinning Crane Kick. Now, this has had some change, and I really wish I had a dummy here that I could show you on, because I don't think I'll hit with all these. But anyways, basically what you're looking at, you're gonna spin around and do your damage like normal. Let's maybe. Oh, okay. It costs chi, that's why. Let's get some chi built up here. So it's gonna do the same effect where you spin around in circles like that. What's different with this thing is actually the damage is going to be increased by 50% for each unique target you struck in the last 15 seconds with Tiger Palm, Blackout Kick, or Rising Sun Kick. Basically, if you're in an AoE situation, tab through the targets as you do your rotation, and you're going to see this thing magically build up a number on the actual Spinning Crane Kick icon on your bars. And what that's saying is, okay, you've hit X amount within the 15 seconds. This is what you're looking at. If you get around 3 to 4 of them, go ahead and hit Spinning Crane Kick. 200% increased damage on 28. That's doing a lot of damage to everything in the area. Huge amount of damage. That's when it makes it worth it. If you use it just by itself at that level, it does not make it worth it. It is almost horrible to end up using, and you're better off going onto your single target rotation and just cleaving off with Fist of Fury or whatever ability you may end up having, your artifact. We'll go over that in a second. But this thing's cool to end up using. You can basically tab through the targets or click them, whichever you want. But you're gonna have to go through and hit at least 4 individual unique characters or mobs to make this thing actually worth using now. Storm, Earth, and Fire. They've changed this thing multiple times, and I think they finally got it to a point to where they like it. What it is 1.5 minute recharge. You get 2 charges right off the bat. You split into 3 elemental spirits for 15 seconds, each spirit dealing 45% of normal damage and healing. You directly control the storm spirit, while earth and fire spirits mimic your attacks on nearby enemies. While active, casting Storm, Earth, and Fire again will cause the spirits to fixate your target. So this kind of turns into a Hunter's Mark target icon whenever you go to use it again. And let's see if it'll work. So here we got it, and see the Hunter's Mark. And basically what that's going to let me do is swap back and forth to different targets. It does not last very long, guys. It does not. But you can end up getting a good amount of damage done through this, because basically you're looking at 45% on a single target. It turns into roughly 135% increased damage, and it works out really well, not 135% increased damage, but 35% increased damage on a 1.5 minute cooldown. Works pretty good, guys. Very enjoyable, interesting, and if you want something to look at with this, basically look at it as Heroes of the Storm, Chen, whenever you get his Storm, Earth, and Fire spirits. That's the way you're going to want to look at this. But with 2 charges, you can use them back to back, or you can wait until you build back up with some of your harder hitting abilities and then cast it and get the most benefit out of it. There is some timing effort involved in this ability. Now, Strike of the Windlord is your artifact ability, and man, this thing rails. It hits like a truck, guys. And it's an AoE at that. It's great for single target. It's even better for AoE. So it's got a 9-yard range. It's in front of you, and it costs 2 chi. Well, it's going to use the Fist of the Heavens at all enemies in front of you, dealing 153,000 damage and reducing movement speed by 50% for 6 seconds. Okay, so we're going to hit this speed bag. Hopefully we'll hit it the first time. Let me back up a little. And this is the ability. Doesn't look that great, but you can see he swings with both hands. He hits with one and then swings with the other. What's neat about this ability is the fact that 155 or whatever you plan on doing is baseline off of both hands hitting normally. You can actually crit individually with each hand or crit with one, and it's going to do a huge damage modifier situation. And I've noticed this with a lot of different abilities currently in Warlords, that they're actually getting this crazy idea that all these different abilities, they're throwing a baseline damage down, but if it does a multiple hit, it's got a chance of critting on each one of those hits, and it's pretty damn insane the way that they're doing it. So just keep in mind, whenever you do something like this and you see an ability that says basic damage, look at the damage, because that did 164. Let me see if it'll, but like this one here, the Tiger Palm, this is, actually, well, Fist of Fury, I gotta get it unlocked. Alright, so this is actually a talent, and this is Whirling Dragon Punch, and you'll see, it does like a bunch of different hits, and each one has a chance to crit, and it's really neat the way they've got that set up, and that's a lot of different specs, guys. And with that, let's move on. Tiger Palm. Tiger Palm, as it's gonna be your chi builder, 50 energy, and basically it's very little damage, but it has an 8% chance to make your next blackout kick cost no chi. So you kind of get like a little flare of the old mastery that you had. Okay, nothing big, nothing great. So Tiger's Lust, that's going to be a talent. You've got Touch of Death. Touch of Death is a lot different than what it used to be, guys. It's going to basically work in the same aspect, but you're going to throw it out there, and you can throw it out at any time. Let's see if it'll actually target, and it missed. Great. But what this does is it's going to, after 8 seconds, the target will take damage equal to your maximum health, and it's reduced against players for obvious reasons. It's probably going to be less than half of what you actually end up doing. But after 8 seconds, it's going to do your full health to the target, and it works really awesome in this aspect. It works more as a cooldown instead of an execute. They wanted to limit the amount of executes, and they did a pretty decent job. Now, where I will end up saying this thing seems a little on the... Some people have said, oh, it seems weak and this and that. No, you need to look at the artifact abilities, and we'll go over those later. Because last I remember, there was a few of them that actually improved this thing a ton. And being on a 2-minute cooldown, doing 485k health every 2 minutes in an instant ability, that's awesome, guys. Touch of Karma works basically the same, guys. Any damage you take is redirected to the enemy target as nature damage over 6 seconds. But the damage cannot exceed 50% of your maximum health now. And it lasts a total of 10 seconds. So this is a good damage redirect if you feel like you're going to take a huge burst. Toss this thing up, and next thing you know, you won't take any, but that target will. Transcendence works the same. Split your body and spirit, leaving your spirit behind for 15 minutes. Use Transcendence transfer to swap locations. So here you go. There's me, and then I'm going to use transfer, and boom, you can just go back and forth with it. And transfer itself actually has a 25-second cooldown. So something to think about if you need some mobility. Monks still have it, especially with roll. Whirling Dragon Punch, I did show you this. It is a talent. We'll go over it a bit more in the actual talents. Zen Pilgrimage Return. Now, Zen Pilgrimage is now your ability that gets you from your class hall back and forth. And there's a little bit of a story history behind this that I don't want to spoil, so we're going to go ahead and skip past it. Afterlife, it's passive. When you kill an enemy, you summon a healing sphere, healing you for a pretty good amount when you walk through it. When you kill an enemy with Blackout Kick, you have 50% chance to summon a chi sphere, granting 1 chi when you walk through it. So, just a little bit of a different change on that one. Mastery, combo strikes. The mastery is cool as shit. Your abilities deal 26% more damage when they are not repeats of the previous ability. So basically, as long as you never hit the same button over again, your damaging abilities are going to get 26% increased damage on top of that. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Really good. And I enjoy it because it keeps you from just doing spammy 1-1-1 situations and all that. You actually have to be more fluent in your button strikes and know, okay, did that ability actually go off or did it not? You got to track yourself more than your actual character in most situations to make sure you're doing this correctly, and it plays out very nicely. And then you have Windwalking. You and your allies within 10 yards have 10% increased movement speeds. Cool. Excellent. Anyone that's around you is going to be able to move faster. You're going to move faster. Everybody's happy because you're getting there faster. And that's going to be it for the abilities, guys. Let's move our asses on out to the talents. Alright, so here we are looking at the talents. In level 15, Chi Burst. If you've seen this on live, you've seen it now. And basically, it's going to hurl a torrent of Chi forward. Basically, you're just throwing a Chi ball forward, guys. If you've seen this before, you've seen it again. Eye of the Tiger, a little bit different. It's passive. Tiger Palm also applies Eye of the Tiger, dealing 10,000 nature damage to the enemy and 10,000 healing to the monk. It's really nice having that little bit of extra damage and then that little bit of extra healing. And it's not a lot by any means, but it's always good. Chi Wave, same as on live, guys. It bounces back and forth a little bit on the weak side compared to what we know on live, but it still plays fairly well. Level 30, Chi Torpedo, same thing as on live, guys, except for one addition. It's going to give you that movement speed by 30% like the other ability used to. I can't think of the name of it. I think it was part of this one. I can't remember. No, Chi Torpedo. I can't remember the name of it, guys, but this is going to give you the 30% for 10 seconds, stacking up to 2 times. So you can actually get a lot of good movement out of Chi Torpedo now. Tiger's Lust, same thing as live, basically increases a friendly target's movement speed by 70% for 6 seconds and removes all root and snares. So I usually just toss this on myself and get from point A to point B really quick. Celerity reduces a cooldown of roll by 5 seconds, increases its maximum number of charges by 1. Yep, same. Alright, 45, Energizing Elixir. Now, they've turned this into an actual talent, and I'm kind of sad by it, but we'll go with it. Instant 1 minute cooldown, chug an energizing elixir, refilling all of your energy and chi. So they gave it a little bit of a difference than what you're used to seeing, and it plays. It's okay, guys, if you want to end up doing yet another cooldown for managing. It's not that great, you know, especially since energy doesn't seem to be a problem, and chi is really not a problem. And then you've got Ascension, passive, increases your maximum chi by 1 and your energy regeneration by 15. This lines up very nicely when you start going, guys, because there's going to be some times to where you get a little bit higher the way things end up working on. You've got some break periods to where you're going back and forth between not just Tiger Palm, but you're going between Tiger Palm and Blackout Kick. And Tiger Palm builds 2 chi, while Blackout Kick uses only 1, and then sometimes the cooldowns just don't seem to line up for the other stuff. And it just felt like having that one additional slot would sometimes just help out without losing that damage or that extra chi orb. Really nice, especially since you've got to, for your mastery, keep hitting back and forth on different buttons. So that's why I went with Ascension. Then you've got Power Strikes. Every 15 seconds, your next Tiger Palm generates 1 additional chi. Again, chi was not an issue on building. Level 60, Ring of Peace. Pretty much the same thing as on live, guys. Form a Ring of Peace around the friendly target for 8 seconds. Enemies in the ring that use a harmful spell or ability will be knocked out of the ring. No longer does the disarm, though. I'm not sure if it still disarms on live or not, but it no longer does the disarm. Dizzying Kicks. Blackout Kick also reduces the target's movement speed by 70% for 3 seconds. Alright. Leg Sweep. Still probably one of the best AoE stuns out there. Instant 45-second cooldown, and it works out really good. Stuns all enemies within 5 yards for 5 seconds. Level 75, Healing Elixir. This is pretty damn sweet now, guys. They've done a huge change on this. It's instant 30-second recharge. Drink a Healing Elixir, healing you for 15% of your maximum health. Healing Elixir will automatically trigger if you drop below 35% health and a charge is available. So what this means is you actually have 2 charges. They are on 30 seconds for each recharge. If you want to heal yourself for 15% of your max health, you can go ahead and just click it now. Instead of it having to activate itself or using it whenever you drink a brew, you know, there's none of that crap anymore. You just click it and it heals you for 15% of your health. If you drop below 35% health, it'll automatically drink one for you if it's available. It's a nice little piece. It's played well. It's a lot better than what we have on live, and I decided to play with it, and I do enjoy this thing. You still have Diffuse Magic also. 2-minute cooldown, reduces magic damage you take by 60% for 6 seconds, and transfers all current active harmful magical effects on you back to their original caster if possible. There's a lot of good use I could see this for if it's available for a PvE situation. This seems more PvE organized than anything if you're against casters. Dampen Harm. Instant 2-minute cooldown, reduces all damage you take by 30% for the next 3 attacks that damage you for 15% or more of your max health, castable while stunned. So if you're stunned and you're getting wrecked, you can pop this thing and save yourself. Level 90, Rushing Jade Wind. It's cost 1 chi, it's instant, summons a whirling tornado around you, causing X amount of damage over 5.1 seconds. Yeah, okay guys, this is just another AoE ability. It's okay. Okay. You have plenty of cleave AoE off of your main rotation already, that this is just not necessary unless you really feel like you've got to be super dick mode on mass AoE. This is going to be the way to end up going. But in all other circumstances, you can just run regular rotation and get to it. Invokes Wen, the White Tiger. 3-minute cooldown. Yeah, it's Wen, guys. He comes out and he attacks primary targets and also does some cleave. It's nothing that great. It's just the same ability that we've seen over and over and over again for the monks. Hit combo, on the other hand, this played out very nice and it lines up perfectly with your mastery. This is just basically, if you do your mastery correctly, you're looking at constant 10% increase in damage. But each successive attack that triggers a combo strike in a row grants 1% increased damage, stacking up to 10 times. So let me see if I can get this to work. There's the Tiger Palm stuff. It's not going to show the hit combos. There it is. Okay, so 3% because I did 3 different abilities, and it's really simple to keep up. Gives you a little bit of a rev up time than you normally would end up seeing, but it plays out nicely and I enjoy it, so that's why I'm using it. Let's see, 100 Chi Orbit. Now this has got some decent AoE potential if you don't feel like an extra button. Every 5 seconds an orb of energy forms and rotates around you until it impacts on an enemy, dealing a decent amount of damage to all nearby enemies, maximum of 4 orbs. It's okay, guys. You start off with 4 orbs and it does some really good initial damage, and it does some decent overtime damage, which, you know, because it comes out every 5 seconds, it's good. It's not a bad thing. But then you've got Whirling Punch, and I enjoy this for a couple reasons. One, it's an additional button on a very limited button spec to begin with. 2, it's reduced by haste. The cooldown's reduced by haste. And it's an amazing hard-hitting ability, and it's going to deal X amount of damage to all nearby enemies, so it has a cleave function still. Only usable while Fist of Fury and Rising Sun Kicker on cooldown. The thing about this ability is not only does it work off of your mastery, but it also works for the hit combo. It plays into it very nicely, and it gives you an additional button to end up hitting while everything else is already supposed to be on cooldown, and it hits like a truck. It's great damage, and it plays with your mastery, it plays with hit combo, it plays with a lot of different things, and it gives you one additional button to end up pushing while the rest of everything else is off cooldown, so it just plays more into your mastery and hit combo. Really, really nice. And again, did I mention it hits like a truck? In both single target and AoE situations, reduced by haste. Come on, guys. This is my favorite way to end up going with this. I know it'll change. I see a lot of them running around with Chi Orbit, and I know it does more initial burst damage at the beginning, but I believe because this is showing 75,696 before you actually end up building it up. Let me see if I can get some hit combos up. And it's pretty hard with this higher dummy, but we'll do it. We'll get it done. All right. So now it's up to 80,000, alright, and we're at 7 stacks of hit combo, and that's not including what our 82, alright, so we are capped out at 10 now, so you're looking at 83,000, and then you go to hit it, and you got a chance of critting each time that this thing hits, all 4 times that it hits, so that's another thing to end up thinking about, to where it's going to increase its damage. It just, to me, it makes more sense having this extra ability and the rotation benefit. Then you have Serenity. This is going to replace your main cooldown, which is Storm, Earth, and Fire. You're going to enter an elevated state of mental and physical serenity for 10 seconds. While in this state, you deal 40% increased damage and healing, and all chi consumers are free and have 50% reduced cooldown. This is a nuts burst ability. It is definitely not for long-term anything, guys. But for burst, this is by far an amazing cooldown. And if you end up taking this, it's got one charge. It doesn't have the 2 charges, all right, like the Storm, Earth, and Fire, to where it's got a 1.5 minute recharge. This is a 1.5 minute cooldown on its own. So you're getting rid of those 2 Storm, Earth, and Fires. And if you think about it, the chi consumers are going to be the main thing that you're looking at here for them being free. You'll be able to hit all your other buttons without a cooldown, or it's going to just do an insane amount of damage over that 10 seconds, but you really only get 5% increased damage over what the Storm, Earth, and Fire does. So there is a benefit, and then there is it's got a wax and wane situation to it. But that's going to be it for the talents, guys. Let's go ahead and move on to the artifact. Alright, so we're taking a look at the skins here of the Fist of the Heavens, the Windwalker artifact, guys, and what you're looking at is what you get. They aren't the greatest fist weapons on the planet. They do kind of fit the symmetry of the monk themselves, though. But as you can see, there's not a whole hell of a lot going there. And then you've got Alakir's Touch. They get a little bit better. Not too shabby. Spirit's Reach, alright. Little out there, but they look good, and they do show up whenever you're actually fighting, which is nice. And then you got Shadowpan Legacy. These are your PvP ones, and they're pretty sick. They look like the Shadowpan claws, and it really, not a bad deal. But this is what you're looking at for the skins, guys. Some pretty neat looking ones. I'm sure you can get a couple good ideas to end up going with them. And with that, let's go ahead and move our butts on over to the traits. Alright, so here we're looking at the artifact traits, guys. And what do we have first? We'll go ahead and mention the Strike of the Windlord, which is your artifact cooldown. This thing hits like a truck. It is used, it's going to hit all enemies in front of you, dealing 153,000. Mind you, this is going to change as it ends up going. But the damage is really high, and it also reduces the movement speed by 50% for 6 seconds. Works really good. Dark Skies, first ability out the door whenever you get this thing. 101, increases damage dealt by Blackout Kick by 15%, which it's needed because that thing doesn't hit worth a shit. Then we're going to go Rising Winds, 1 of 3. Increases damage dealt by Rising Sun Kick by 3, 6, or 9%. Death Art, 0 of 3, reduces the remaining cooldown on Touch of Death by 20% if the target dies before Touch of Death expires. Okay, so 20, 40, and 60%. Not too horrible. Then you've got Light on Your Feet, rank 0 of 3, increases dodge chance by 3, 6, or 9%, okay. Tiger Claws, 0 of 3, increasing damage dealt by Tiger Palm by 5, 10, or 15%. Tiger Palm doesn't hit very hard, guys, and it's going to be just a small boost, just like this is. Then you've got your first Golden Dragon, Gale Burst, 0-1, increases damage done by Touch of Death by 10% of all damage you dealt to the target during the duration. Touch of Death is a huge damaging cooldown, and I will show you that in the logs here real soon. But 10% of all damage you deal during this 8-second window is going to make it that much bigger of a deal. You pair this up nicely with a Storm, Earth, and Fire, and you are going to put a lot of extra damage on top of this. And we will definitely go over this in the logs whenever I get to it. Spiritual Focus, 0-1, passive, increased damage dealt by Storm, Earth, and Fire spirits by 5%. Again, really good damage out of that. Inner Peace, increases maximum energy by 10, 20, and 30%. I do have a relic slot on it, so that is going to fill it in. Tornado Kicks, 0-1. Rising Sun Kick strikes a second time for 15% additional damage. Alright, a little bit of additional. Rising Sun Kick is definitely one of your harder hitting abilities, so it's nice to see that. Transfer the Power, 0-1. Blackout Kick and Rising Sun Kick increase damage dealt by your next Fist of Fury by 5%, stacking up to 10 times. Alright, yeah. Considering the timing should end up putting that up pretty decent to almost 10, the 10 stacks each time that you go to use it, and it's going to be a good amount of extra damage. Is it enough to end up holding off on Fist of Fury before actually casting it? Probably not. Just build up to what you can before you get there, because having that thing off, on cooldown is what you should be doing, because it is one of your hardest hitting abilities. Then you got Fist of the Wind, rank 0-3, increases damage dealt by Fist of Fury by 3, 6, or 9%. Crosswinds 0-1 passive. During Fist of Fury, Wind Spirit images of your attack. Attack your Fist of Fury target for a total of 56,000 additional damage. That's cool, guys. That is, again, Fist of Fury is one of your hardest hitting abilities, and then you end up adding more damage on top of it. It's going to be a good increase. Healing Winds 0-3 activating Transcendence transfer heals you for 10, 20, or 30% of your maximum health over 6 seconds. Strength as Wind 0-3 increases the chance of Tiger Palm to make your next Blackout Kick cost no chi by 2%, so 2, 4, and 6%. And then you got Power of 1,000 Cranes, increases damage dealt by Spinning Crane Kick by 3%, so 3, 6, or 9. Good Karma, redirected by damage redirected by Touch of Karma also heals you. So you get a little bit of healing benefit off that. And that is going to be it for the artifact itself, guys. I went through it kind of quick because there's not a whole hell of a lot on there. You've got general basic damage boosters, and most of it's going to be like defensive modifiers. This thing does very well on its own even before this, so it's only going to become a monster when you start filling this in. Now with that, let's take a look at some of the sorry, we're not going to the logs yet, we're going to the gameplay. Alright, so we're taking a look at the monk gameplay. So what are we looking at here? The main thing that you want to end up knowing is your single target rotation. And I'll talk about single target rotation first, just because the AoE rotation's not much different off of it. So single target, you've got Tiger Palm, which is going to build you 2 chi each time you cast it. It's 50 energy for this thing. And then everything else is going to be, basically, that's all that's going to cost you energy at this point, is going to be Tiger Palm. Everything else is going to be chi spinners. Rising Sun Kick, 2 chi. You've got Blackout Kick, 1 chi. You've got Fist of Fury, 3 chi. So where's the priority list going in on this? Also, Strike of the Windlord, which is your artifact ability, that's 2 chi. Everything's costing chi. So where do you want to spend this chi? Alright, obvious deal is make sure that you're using Rising Sun Kick right off the bat. 2 chi for 2 chi, and it hits very hard. That's a good way to end up going. Your next thing to build up to is going to be Fist of Fury. Now, you're not going to build up to this right away, so you're going to want to end up going Tiger Palm, Rising Sun Kick, Tiger Palm, Blackout Kick, Tiger Palm, and then most likely Fist of Fury at that point, and then another Tiger Palm after that, and go Strike of the Windlord. The thing you want to do with your Fist of Fury, though, is try and time it. You don't want to use it right away, because while you're channeling it, you're going to be regenning energy. If you're regenning this energy and you end up capping out in the process, you are wasting damage. So try and get your energy as low as possible before actually using Fist of Fury to help maximize your actual damage, and you'll be able to go back into your Tiger Palm rotation and then whatever's next on the priority list. So keep that in mind, guys. Really good to play with. If you do go Whirling Dragon Punch, once you've got both Fist of Fury and Rising Sun Kick down, you're going to want to use Whirling Dragon Punch, and just make sure you're always going with what the mastery, and if you take hit combos, tells you. Hit a different button each time. It's not that hard to get used to, and it's just going to be free extra damage no matter what. And Whirling Dragon Punch is a good way to end up keeping that going. It gives you that one extra ability, so you not only don't mess up your mastery, you don't end up messing up your talent hit combos if you go with it. Works really nice, very enjoyable, but that's going to be the basis of your spec. Now in an AoE situation, off of the same principle, if it's 1, 2, 3 targets, just do a single target rotation. It's not worth it. If it's 4 or more, tab through these targets as you do your single target rotation. As long as you're hitting them with either Tiger Palm, Blackout Kick, or Rising Sun Kick, those are going to be the 3 abilities that you're wanting to look at using as you tab through the 4 or more. But you're going to want to at least get 4 stacks on this thing, because Spinning Crane Kick's modifier, if you're hitting a unique target with either Tiger Palm, Blackout Kick, or Rising Sun Kick, it's going to be 50% increase in damage per target hit. Once you get 4 targets, that's where it's going to be kind of the sweet spot to increase your damage by using Spinning Crane Kick. Mind you, Spinning Crane Kick now costs 3 chi. It's no longer energy dependent. So this is where you're looking at spending it also. Keep this in mind. Very, very, very situational on the way you want to end up using this. Only use it if you're doing, again, 4+ mobs, and that's going to be kind of the very minimum baseline, guys. Most of the time I found myself just doing a single target rotation and letting Fist of Fury do the cleaving off of it because it hits like a truck to everything around. Your artifact ability hits like a truck to everything around, and then I've got a Whirling Dragon Punch, and that hits like a truck to everything all around you. So you do enough AoE just in your single target rotation to where if you're just, again, if you're fighting 3 or less, you don't even want to think about doing it. 4, 5, 6, right in that ballpark area, that's gonna, you know, the magic number is gonna be in there somewhere, guys, and it's going to be dependent on you if you feel like it's enough of effort to tab through while doing your single target rotation to keep your damage up, and then end up using Spinning Crane Kick when you've got that 3 extra. So it's going to be a gameplay choice on there, and that is going to be it on the AoE side. Now, boss fights. If you want to start this off and start it off good, first thing you're going to want to do, toss out Touch of Death. If it is ready to go, just toss it, because it's going to do a base damage to you already until you get the artifact ability that allows you to do a little bit more of a burst window. So Touch of Death goes out, then build your combo points up to a point to where you're going to start using your bigger items. I mean, you can almost use it right off the bat because everything's going to already be off cooldown. So if you hit Storm, Earth, and Fire right off the bat for the first one, go through and then open up with Tiger Palm, use your Rising Sun Kick, Tiger Palm, Blackout Kick, Tiger Palm, Fist of Fury, alright, and then that'll regen everything, and then more than likely, you can end up getting another Tiger Palm and Strike of the Windlord off during that first Storm, Earth, and Fire. Then you can kind of wait until Fist of Fury comes off cooldown again, or one of your other abilities comes off cooldown, and then you can redo it yet again and get more of that damage out. It's a very nice piece. Is it going to hit as hard as what Touch of Death does? Hell no. Touch of Death rocks. It is a huge amount of burst damage for that very short window. And again, I'll show you that in the logs. But that's going to be the basis of it, guys. And then you're just going to want to stick to a priority list off of that main cooldown usage of, okay, you want to hit Tiger Palm to build your chi, and then you want to hit another spender, which priority listing, if you've got enough energy, it's going to be Rising Sun Kick or Strike of the Windlord, whichever one's off cooldown, Strike of the Windlord taking priority. The other item that's going to take priority is going to be Whirling Dragon Punch if you don't have any energy issues, because it is completely free as long as Rising Sun Kick and Fist of Fury are on cooldown. The other thing is, if you're lower on energy, you're going to want to end up hitting Fist of Fury, because this is going to allow you to not only do a very good amount of damage over 3.4 seconds, but it's also going to regen energy while you're casting this ability. Make sure you let it go for the full channel, because you can break the channel on your own, and that's a loss of damage. Other than that, you're going to go into every other hit should be Tiger Palm, just so you generate enough chi and you keep your energy flow just right. And then Blackout Kick, the only reason that's there is if everything else on your priority list is on cooldown. So let's go ahead and take this as what it is, guys. You can see where this is leaning, and it plays very nicely. Let's go ahead and move on to the actual logs. Alright, so as you can see, there's only a few items on this list of where your damage comes from. Right. Fist of Fury usually is going to be towards the top, but as you can see, Touch of Death, for being a single cast, is right there on its ass. Huge damage out of this ability, guys, and it's absolutely insane where it actually spikes up to. You can see right here, the initial spike on this spec is ungodly because of this one ability. All this area right here is due to it. And then you look and you can see where the rest of the damage comes from, and it seems really low. So just something to think about. Touch of Karma was in there. This is Shade of Xavius, which is the last boss in the Darkheart Thicket, and it's a pretty decent fight for most melee situations. Tank had him up against the wall for some reason, so I had to be more in front, and it was really weird. But Fist of Fury, as you can see, really good damage. 19 hits, 19 casts, really good. Touch of Death, Blackout Kick, Rising Sun Kick. This Arcane Blast is actually something that Shade Xavius ends up doing, not me. And then, Whirling Dragon Punch. Again, that one's real high. You can see to where it says 3 casts only, but I had 9 hits with it because, again, it hits 3 different times whenever you end up using it. And the crit chance on this thing is absolutely really high for damage, or the crit damage. So it works pretty good. Melee, Tiger Palm, Strike of the Windlord. Now, the Eye of the Tiger, this is actually the dot that you get from that level 15 talent. Plays out pretty nice. Touch of Karma. And then this is all, not the Strike of the Windlord. Strike of the Windlord here is actually going to be it too. This is our ability. This is going to be all from our Storm, Earth, and Fire. As you can see, Earth, Elemental, Fire, and that's Rising Sun Kick off of them, and then they also benefit from Strike of the Windlord, and then Fist of Fury they'll end up benefiting from. As you can see, there's just a whole bunch of damage that these two can end up doing together, and it is really, really good. So, with this, guys, I hope this gives you a general idea of what you're looking for. It is a little bit on the rough side to end up pointing out, because, again, you've got all this different stuff that's filling in, and these are going to be the different Storm, Earth, and Fires that ended up coming out, but they do play out very nicely. Fist of Fury, top dog, because it does hit like a truck. Blackout Kick. The Blackout Kick does pretty good, guys. I mean, it does do pretty good, but as you can see, there's twice as many in it as there was Rising Sun Kicks. With more haste and you get more Rising Sun Kicks because the cooldown gets reduced, it's going to be a lot better. Again, guys, I hope this helped you out on your thoughts or processing of whatever you're doing for Legion. This has been a very fun experience on the Monk for me, and I did enjoy it. Because of the different gameplay. Instead of just spamming one or two buttons, you actually have to make a small rotation of back and forth and think of which one you want to actually hit. Gave it a good gameplay choice style, and I did enjoy it. But guys, if you did enjoy this video, go ahead and throw it a like, subscribe up, and I'll get you the best content I can available at the time, at any given moment. Hopefully we'll get most of these videos done pretty soon. And again, if you did enjoy it, guys, just throw it a like and a subscribe. We'll get right to you. And as always, thanks for watching.